There are nearly 500,000 more home sellers than buyers in the United States right now. That's the biggest imbalance in over a decade, which means this could be your once in a decade chance to buy at leverage. Here's what's really happening and what it means for people trying to buy in the state of Texas. Let's set the stage. Just 2 years ago, the sellers were calling the shots. I didn't particularly care for it. I would go into a listing appointment with all the data that I needed to substantiate the price, and the sellers would tell me to add a zero because they got their Zestimate from Zillow and they already knew what they wanted to go with. Big mistake in today's day and age. The homes were flying off the shelves, often with bidding wars and offers way over asking price. It was complete chaos and out of control. Fast forward to today, and the tables have turned big time. Nationally, the listings are up 31.5% year over year, and there's been 19 straight months of inventory growth. With now over 1 million houses on the market nationwide, the biggest since pre-pandemic. There are roughly about 1.9 million sellers right now, and only 1.5 million buyers, which is a 33% surplus of sellers. Pending home sales fell 2.5% compared to this time last year, and homes are sitting on the market even longer. Obviously, it depends on the market where you are, but nationwide, the average is 51 days on the market, 6 days more than it was last year. And check out this stat, nearly 1 in every 5 listings had a price reduction in the month of May 2025. That is the highest share for any month of May, going way back to 2016. So what does that mean for you as the buyer? More choices, less competition, and finally some negotiating power. So let's break down what's behind this seismic change in the real estate market. Currently, mortgage rates are hovering around 6.85 to 7% for most people. Now, obviously, that is double what we saw during the pandemic, and it's pushing monthly payments to near record highs. Nationally, the median sales price is $397,000, but the median asking price on all listings nationwide is $425,000. That is a gap between list and final sales price of about $29,000. The buyers are negotiating really hard, and the sellers are just having to come down. And to top it all off, the economic uncertainty right now is keeping some buyers even on the sidelines. I saw a stat the other day where nearly 1 in 4 Americans are putting major purchases on the sideline due to the tariff concerns. And now, in June, it's the summer selling season, you have more sellers hitting the market. A bunch of homeowners who scored those ultra low rates during the pandemic are finally hitting the market, either because of job changes, life events, and that's adding even more inventory. Now, let's zoom in on Texas and specifically the area that I really serve, the greater San Antonio area, because here is where things are getting really interesting for both buyers and our investor clients. Texas home sales dropped 4.5% year over year, while the inventory surged 29%. The 13th straight month of rapid growth. Just over 23,000 homes were sold in the month of February 2025, reflecting those affordability challenges and a more cautious outlook. The months of supply in the state of Texas climbed to 4.4 in the month of February, compared to just 3.5 a year ago. That's a pretty big move. And just like the national scene, houses here in Texas are staying on the market longer, reaching up to 50 days, which is 6 more than it was just last year at 44 days. I got over 15 emails last week alone talking about days on the market and people that are struggling with their listing that are either subscribers to the channel or saw the last couple videos we did on the housing market saying the same thing. They need help, which means the inventory turnover dropped to just 14%, down significantly from 20% just a year ago. New construction is seeing an impact too. In the Dallas-Fort Worth market, new construction sales are down 2.8% in the month of February. And check this out, the average days on the market rose to 149 days. That's crazy. But here's the twist. Pending sales in DFW rose 12% in February, suggesting the buyer interest hasn't quite disappeared in that market just yet. The median statewide price stood at $328,000 as of February. That's down $5,000 from $332,000 from just a year ago. And of course, the price improvements vary by region. The Fort Worth and Arlington area actually posted the highest appreciation. And it's no secret, we know Austin market has been struggling quite a bit. they were down 1.4%. And now let's talk about H-Town. Houston has logged 16 straight months of positive growth above 2%. Let me tell you about a recent transaction we just closed. He was a 48-year-old male relocating from Houston to a rural community just outside San Antonio. Last year, he easily would have had to have bid against probably 4 or 5 other buyers looking for the exact same thing, and would have had to get really competitive with his offer and maybe even pay over asking price. But fast forward to this spring, we narrowed it down to 5 properties. I negotiated 15 grand off the listing price, and we even got the seller to pay most of his closing cost. That's a great deal. And it's not just him. Sellers now are offering more concessions. A bunch of our listing clients right now are offering rate buy downs, home warranties, and even throwing in some of the appliances like refrigerators and washers and dryers just to get the deal done. So if you're a buyer or an investor, you may be asking yourself, well, what does this all mean for me? Well, in my opinion, what it means is this is your moment. Get your agent to ask for price cuts, closing cost help, and even negotiate those repairs. Speaking from personal experience, sellers are way more interested in working a deal than they were in previous years. And with the inventory up, you have way more time to shop around to be able to negotiate those deals. And even if you get a house under contract and it doesn't work out during that option period, there are other ones that you can go from. I often recommend to my clients, let's have a second and maybe even a third option, because somebody will say yes and they're gonna be willing to dance. And I get it, affordability is still a challenge here. High rates and prices just mean that we need to be more strategic in the way we approach houses and the transaction. Now for my investors watching this, rural and new construction hotspots, especially in South Texas, are very attractive still, especially for long-term rentals and appreciation growth. Now, some experts are predicting that home prices could drop about 1% nationwide. But what we are seeing is Texas markets, especially ones like San Antonio, are kind of holding steady. They're not quite seeing those drops just quite yet. And I think we're not quite seeing those drops to that level are because of the strong job growth here in the area and the migration from other states coming to Texas. And I saw a stat the other day where Texas is gonna be the #1 most populated state, I think by 2043, which is pretty amazing. Now, as of this recording, I am not seeing anything out there, including the conference calls and things that we are on every single day regarding the mortgage rates. I don't see them dropping at all throughout the rest of this year. I'm telling all of our buyer clients, prepared for them to stay in the 6s. But if they do fall, get prepared because competition is gonna ramp up again. But right now, the buyers definitely have the upper hand. And keep in mind, I still feel like new construction is the way to go for most people, unless you absolutely have to have that charming house or you wanna have something like more land, because obviously new construction usually doesn't come with a bunch of land around it. But from a deal perspective, strictly looking at numbers on a piece of paper, if you get the right new construction builder, it's gonna be tough to beat the in-house financing and some of the incentives that they're offering the buyers. So in doing this for more than a decade, here's my 2 cents. I've been a part of market shifts before. Real estate is very much like a wave. I just haven't seen it done this quickly. And at the risk of sounding like a sleazy used car salesman, if you're looking to buy in and around the South Texas area, now's your time. You have the options, you got the leverage, and now time is on your side. And here's a little tip if you're a seller during this market right now, no matter where you're living in the country. I'm telling all of my listing clients, price it realistically. The days are pricing it high and getting a whale buyer from a different state coming in there and to swoop it up cash. Those days are gone. It's over. Be open to negotiations. And don't be afraid to have your agent offer incentives as part of the listing package. Those days of just name your price or add a 0 to the end of the listing price, they're gone, and I'm actually kind of thankful that they are. It was super stressful representing our buyer clients. Even going back to 2021, we could put 3 or 4 offers in on properties, and every single time we were outbid. And if you had a personal experience like that, leave me a comment below because I know you're out there. And that couple that was outbid multiple times back in 2021, they were patient and they just landed their dream home, and with 20 grand off the listing price with incentives included on a new construction deal. I hope you found this breakdown helpful. So if you're thinking about moving to South Texas or investing in new construction, or you want your dream acreage, then scan this QR code right here. My team would be happy to help you anywhere in the Lone Star State. And check out this video we did of a modern farmhouse design just outside San Antonio, Texas. That's our most popular watched video of all time. Thanks for watching, and remember, in real estate, Timing is everything. Catch you on the next one.